side, we will now hear the counter argument. Representing the pro side tonight, our pro speaker hails from the metropolis of Houma, Louisiana. He's a junior chemistry major. He enjoys hunting and fishing, enjoys rooting on the Saints and the Pelicans, enjoys delivering pizzas part-time for Redfish Pizza. Maybe if he wins the debate tonight, we'll have a pizza party. He also works as a research assistant in the chemistry department here at Nicholls State University. I want to ask you to put your hands together and please join me in giving a warm colonel's welcome to our pro speaker, Mr. Shane Swan.
Once upon a time, TV only had 3 or 4 channels. And for some of us, this is hard to grasp because now we have hundreds of channels. McDonald's started off with just 10 items on their first menu, but now offer more than 10 combos. Imagine pulling up to McDonald's today to hear that they're only serving Big Macs or nuggets. Nothing in between. No kids' meals, no cheeseburgers, just Big Macs and nuggets. A little silly, yes. But think of why McDonald's is successful. They're successful because they understand choice. The fundamental idea of America is choice. There was a choice by our ancestors to come here. The choice for us to stay now. Think of how many choices we had just in fields of education. Choices of how we live, choices of by whom we're governed. Yet, for the presidential election, we only get 2 choices. We have Americans around the world putting their lives on the line for us at home. And the least that we can do is provide more choices for their leaders. How come next week, for the election, we're forced to think that we have to choose a Big Mac or McNuggets? Now, since I was in the 11th grade, I dreamed of this day. The day that I could cast my vote. I made the choice to take an AP history course, and I fell in love with America. I even scored a 5, the highest score possible on the exam. Now, this is my first presidential election, so I may be new to this, but shouldn't we have more options than just A and B? Than Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton? Just in 1992, we allowed an independent candidate on the debate stage with George H.W. Bush and Bill Clinton, something that independent candidates could only dream of today. With hundreds of millions of people in this country, how come we're forced to think that only 2 people are qualified as candidates? It really seems like we get a choice, I know. We have primaries, which is how we got those candidates. But by the time we voted here in Louisiana, we didn't even get to choose from as many candidates as other states like Iowa or New Hampshire. Louisiana doesn't even have open primaries. You have to be a registered Republican or Democrat just to voice your choice. We're supposed to choose the leader of the country when we don't even get as many options. When the primary started, there were 22 candidates. And by the time we voted in Louisiana, only 6 were left running. Now how is that fair? That our choice is filtered to just the point of 6 choices. So therefore, resolve. My vote, our vote for president doesn't matter because we're forced to think that we can only have 2 choices. So with my first point, I'll display how our vote doesn't matter because of polarized party politics. My second point will then proceed to show how our vote doesn't matter because of the Electoral College. So now my first main point. Our vote for president doesn't matter because of polarized party politics. According to the Washington Post, Over 200 people are running for president that are deemed real candidates. At the peak of the candidates in the media, only 22 were discussed. 5 Democrats, 17 Republicans. So where are the rest? Now maybe you've heard of former New Mexico Governor Gary Johnson. Gary Johnson couldn't make it into the debates because he wasn't polling high enough nationally. As the only candidate on the ballot in all 50 states and independent, Gary Johnson was not allowed to participate in the debates. Another example is Jill Stein, who attempted to take on the revolution that Bernie Sanders started. She fought for her name to be on the ballot in 45 states and eligible for write-in in 3. These are third-party candidates who are actually fortunate enough to be mentioned in the media, nowhere near the amount of Clinton or Trump. According to candidates' names mentioned in just the last 100 days, published by The Atlantic, Trump and Clinton combined for over 500,000 times their names were mentioned, while Gary Johnson and Jill Stein combined for less than 5,000. The media is affiliated with the 2 major parties, so therefore they have a stake in this election. This is why we see more of their candidates than any other. Polarized party voting can result in constituents being forgotten. We often have to pick out of the less of 2 evils. Here in Louisiana, one instance was the election between Edwin Edwards and David Duke. We were forced to choose between a crook and the former leader of the Ku Klux Klan. Now, with our current presidential election, we have one candidate who is under federal investigation, while the other is on tape talking about sexually assaulting women. Our election is literally degraded to sex scandals and name-calling, instead of real issues like national debt or our troops being on the ground in other countries. As if party politics wasn't enough, I'll now display how the Electoral College disenfranchises us. So my second main point, our vote for president doesn't matter because of the Electoral College. Louisiana only has 8 electoral votes, which is not much compared to other larger swing states like California. We hardly see any campaigning done here for national elections. Even for primaries, in which we choose our candidates, we only saw 6 candidates out of the 22 who started. According to CBS News, Hillary Clinton's campaign announced $77 million remaining for September and October, with ads to target voters in Ohio, Nevada, Iowa, Florida, all swing states whose votes are deemed more important than our Louisiana votes. The candidates are battling it out in these states, adding money to their economy in the form of campaign ads and paid volunteers, while we're forced to choose out of the 2. A candidate can win the popular vote and lose the Electoral College. My opponent brought up the election of 2000, and it's a prime example because Al Gore won the popular vote. He said those 500 people mattered in Florida, but how about the rest of the people in the country? What's the point of voting if the numbers don't add up? Electoral math can somehow add up to equal more than the voice of the people. We're coerced into picking one of 2 people, and then the majority can still lose the election. We, the people, are given an opportunity to participate in our government. We're given a choice of who we are governed by. Yet, our vote for president doesn't matter because we're forced to think we only have 2 choices. We're forced to think we can only have Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton. Before we cast our ballot, our fundamental process is reduced to the odds of a coin flip. Seldom do we vote for what we believe in anymore. Our choice should say something about us as a people. Another election where here we are, forced to choose out of 2 evils, forced to choose out of Big Macs and nuggets. So next week, Next week, don't let them tell you that the ice cream machine is broken. You can vote a third party if you want. You can stay home. You can choose Big Macs or McNuggets. But when you make that vote, you have to ask yourself. Ask yourself if it's something that you believe in. Ask yourself if that's a vote that you can stand by. Because we have a choice to make. And when we make that vote, you have to ask, is it a necessary choice or one we were forced to make? You have a choice. We have a choice. The choice of participation and the choice of who our leaders are. No matter who you choose, you made a choice. General George Patton said, if a man can do his best, then what else is there? So as long as you take this last week to ask yourself if you're making the right choice, it can't be a wrong choice. So vote pro. Our vote for president doesn't matter because we're forced to think that we only have two choices.